Be going through our statement as we begin. To all those who are present, members of the media, fellow South Africans, members of the public and the international community. Today we stand before you as United Coalition of Civil Society Movements brought together by a common concern for future of our country. The continued onslaught on the indigenous people of the motherland. We stand here having noted the re-establishment of the systems and methods of colonialism. We are mindful of the fact that the problems of our people started in 1652. South African men were used as cheap labor in the farms, and later, with the discovery of the gold, they were made to sell their labor in the mines, where they were constantly abused. In 1834, slavery was abolished, and the demands of the better working conditions and wages started to rise. The challenges of our people continued until the period of 1890 to 1914, when the tensions between capital and labor increased. Black men were then forced to migrate and their land was dispossessed. For many years, capital continued to import laborers from countries such as Mozambique and Malawi. Today, we have a right to vote, but economic freedom has not been realized. It remains in the hands of the minority that continues to exploit our African people, taking advantage of their suffering. Inequality is in its all-time high. This reminds us of the chairman of mines, Albu, in 1897, who said, "It is necessary for the wages of natives to be reduced because the expenditure of the mines must be reduced, and also to prevent the natives from becoming rich in a short period of time." This agenda continues to thrive even in modern day now in South Africa. We have gathered not as representatives of the single organizational community, but as South Africans from diverse backgrounds who believe that the challenges facing our nation requires a collective and coordinated response. The disdain of our government that cannot be allowed anymore. The issue of illegal immigration is not a concern affecting only one sector of society, one movement, or one individual. It is a matter that impacts communities across South Africa. South Africans are tired of standing in long queues in hospitals. They are tired of competing for spaces in public schools with illegal immigrants. South Africans are tired of competing for jobs with foreign nationals who are appointed in conflict with the Section 8 of the Employment Service Act. South Africans are tired of Nigerians who are selling drugs to youth of this country. South Africans are tired of human trafficking. The exploitation of our people in the textile industry by Chinese. We don't want the tuck shops mafias from Pakistan and Somalians. We want a safe and united South Africa. We meet on the 24th of June 2026 in Midrand, Johannesburg, 6 days before that 30th June 2026 that everyone is talking about, to make a clarion call to the nation. We want to invite all South Africans to rise and file their country. We are calling upon the academics, progressive business people, churches, traditional leaders, political parties, professionals, artists, the unemployed, the prisoners, the homeless, and all foreign nationals who are in the country legally to stand together and fight against the hostile takeover of our country. We call upon South Africans to hold our government accountable. Your vote must never come cheap. We want our government to start respecting their bosses, their voters. We want the government to reconsider their priorities. It is interesting that the acting Minister of Police has dedicated his time to reassure foreign nationals that he will protect them. But not once has he ever assured South Africans that he is going to attend to their concerns. He has blatantly refused to respond to the correspondence, but today he is prepared to spend 600 million against South Africans. The Human Rights Commission has become a Human Rights Commission of foreign nationals with no clue on what South Africans are experiencing. The national interest, and this is why it is important to defend the sovereignty of the Republic. We note with grave concern that yesterday the Human Rights Commission organized a gossip session where South Africans were ostracized and their personal information posted in the public platform without the Human Rights Commission condemning this behavior. All that we want is for the government to fix our borders by installing a fence. We are the legislation to be amended to allow BMA to operate inland. We want the budget of BMA and Home Affairs to be increased. We want immigration officers to be transferred to BMA. We demand a policy shift. Put differently, our government must immediately declare that the township economy must be reserved for South African citizens only. The township economy must be reserved for South African citizens only. Legislation and bylaws must be amended to give effect to this policy position. We demand a massive rollout of the deportation program for the next 6 months. This will include in particular the deportation of undocumented Nigerian nationals, Somalians, those from Pakistan, Chinese, and illegal immigrants in general. We have been trying to engage with the government over the past 12 months, and it is clear that our government does not understand what we want. This was confirmed by the address by the president. While we remain disappointed, we are not despondent. We still believe that we can still find solutions for our problems. We also believe that if the government takes time to listen, we will find each other. We commend government leaders who have tried to meet us halfway by accepting that there is a crisis and who are trying to fix the problem with us. The Mayor of Nkosila Ngalibalele in KwaZulu-Natal, Councillor Mieza, the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Tami Nduli, and the Premier of Gauteng, Premier Mr. Panyaza Lisufi, for recognizing the need to echo the voice of the people on this matter. We have noted the silence of the Minister of Home Affairs, who at the time of need has elected to hide behind the energy of his deputy, and we are left to wonder, why does he remain mum? We note the silence of many political parties and academics. We see you. We can't help but remember the words of Martin Luther King. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Many questions have been asked about what will happen on the 30th June 2026. The government has issued a statement saying it is going to spend 600 million as a result of the 30th. It has ensured that no police officer takes leave on the 30th, but not once have they tried to engage with us. That's what this government does. It plans for the citizens and against the citizens, but never consults the very same citizens. It is interesting that when the same demonstration takes place in Europe, government and the media refuse to refer to it as xenophobia or act of vigilantism. But when South African citizens fight against lawlessness and trying to prevent South Africa from becoming a failed state, then we are called names. Section 32 and 34 of the Immigration Act is instructive that all people who are in the country illegally must depart, and that the state must deport all illegal immigrants. Section 38 states that no person shall employ an illegal foreigner. We are not calling for violence, but for government and the business sector to respect the law. It is that simple. No one will be violated. No one will be killed on the 30th of June. And no looting. I repeat, no one will be violated. No one will be killed on the 30th of June. And no looting will take place in our name. What we are going to do is to start a national march to freedom, a rolling mass action to continue until our demands are met by the government. The 30th is not an event, but the beginning of process, not only to liberate South Africans, but the entire Africa from the bondages of colonialism. We will demonstrate across the country peacefully. We will work tirelessly in a quest to hold our government accountable. No one must aid and abet illegal immigrants. This includes our government. We want Section 42 to be observed. We call upon all our members and all our communities not to cause any destruction to property. No shop must be looted. We are law-abiding citizens and we don't behave like criminals and that are selling drugs to our children. Government has the power to stop the community-led protests by taking a decision to fence the republic, hold the refugee application process until the legislative amendments are concluded, transfer the township economy back to South Africans, increase the budget for the BMA and Home Affairs. We want public schools to prioritize South African children. Yeah. We demand a report on what happened to the report that there are alleged drug syndicates in the country led by Stanley Egbo, Michael Ifebuche, Johnson Anneke, Une Amen. We want government to present a proper plan to the nation on how they intend to address the immigration crisis, not just window dressing. We call upon our members to take this to the streets peacefully, engage with the government, and never stop fighting until we win. It is not a responsibility to be carried by one individual, but all of us must play a part. But it starts with you, and no matter how small the contribution is, it matters. And Mother Teresa reminded us of this when she said, I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. Thank you.
United front in the war against lawlessness, irregular migration, the violation of the human rights of South African citizens, the voters, the taxpayers, the youth, and in general the poor and downtrodden, the building of United Africa, the Pan-Africanism that works for all African countries. We reject any assertion that Pan-Africanism is defined by the Declaration of South Africa as a welfare state, whose responsibility is to take care of the entire citizens of the globe without play a pivotal role of making sure that the 54 countries of Africa have a viable economy and the governments work for their people. We confirm and declare that our organizations stand for peace, unity, the enforcement of our laws, and that our call is a peaceful demonstration of our people's anger and disappointment against the state, and that our people must protest in non-violent manner. We reject any form of violence, destruction of property, and looting as a form of crime. We further reject and question our government to desist from creating an impression that there is violence where it does not exist. We declare that our people will continue to protest peacefully and until our demands are met. The progressive forces shall not stop or call off the fight against illegality until we claim back our country. There goes our declaration. We will sign.
Everyone, I'll try and be brief because I can see there's a lot of questions that we can expect today. So the first one is, it's our event, the 30th of June. I think I mentioned this in our previous press briefing. I'm going to reiterate what I said. The 30th of June is a deadline that was announced by Phakela Mtshakazi. When he announced it, the South Africans stood up in numbers in support. So it's no longer a Phakela Mtshakazi date, it's a South African date. Because South Africans in numbers responded to that date by saying that they also effectively would love to see the country taking shape. And the 30th of June was a deadline given to the illegal immigrants to self-deport One of the reasons I know for that was because our government consistently complained about deporting people being very expensive. So it was meant as a way to encourage people who know they're in the country legally to self-deport. I'm going to go back to the question of whether we know that it's illegal to announce a date. I'm finding it so strange that it can be illegal to tell people who are illegally in the country to leave the country because they're in the country legally. What is illegal about that? Because it's just a date and an encouragement for them to go home. If anything, they should be taking it to heart, because it's giving you an opportunity to prepare yourself. This date wasn't announced yesterday, now that everyone's starting to panic now. I think he announced it in April, if I'm not mistaken, where he announced the date. And South Africans, like I said, are the ones that started echoing the date. Because as much, the date was not announced by us or any of these civic movements that you see here today. But if South Africans are the ones saying that on the 30th of June, we want to echo the call that illegal immigrants must have left the country, there's nothing wrong with that. And we're standing here to say exactly that the 30th of June was not announced by any of us, but because we are with the communities. We are the ones that know what the communities are saying to us. We are the ones that have seen the impact of what goes on because of illegal immigration. Therefore, if the 30th of June is putting enough pressure on governments and illegal immigrants themselves to go home, what could possibly be wrong with that? I'm sorry, I don't get the illegal part of it. Maybe we can get a further elaboration on what would be illegal about telling an illegal person to leave the country legally while they're still in the country legally. Have we made applications? There have been a number of organizations amongst us that have made applications in various areas, and those will be announced because we don't want to cause panic now where everyone is trying to do 50 things at different times. So definitely, as we always march and we always make applications, we always know our Section 4 meetings, every single one of these organizations have done that. We know what the process requires. And how many people are we expecting? We don't know. That's the honest truth. We honestly don't know. All we know is that South Africans in their majority have expressed that they are no longer comfortable living with people that they don't know, who are in the country legally, who are taking over their spaces, and even places in South Africa where we don't feel comfortable going, Sunnyside, the Hill Roads, the Point Roads, all of these places. And this is a call to say that we want all of these things to come to an end. We miss the days where South Africa was, South Africa, where you would walk on the streets and there's not 50,000 people selling and you fall off the streets, and nobody in government sees that as a problem or a reason to enforce their laws. But tell them about March and March, suddenly everyone remembers the law. And then, are we working together? Yes, I think that's why we're here today, to say that we are working together. And it's not a working together because of the 30th. I must emphasize this. These organizations, I think majority of them have been in existence even before March and March. But for some odd reason, it's like this is a March and March thing because I don't know why it's a March and March thing. I honestly don't know. But all of these organizations have been at the forefront of calling out governments for the issue of illegal immigration. And not yesterday, mind you. For years, we've been asking for the same thing from government over and over and over and over and over again. Maybe now, because there's a whole hype around March and March, now people are starting. I think maybe the difference here is that these organizations have been working behind the scenes. Maybe for the first time when March and March said, get off your phones and be seen on the streets, is the reason why people start taking this issue seriously. Because all along, we've been saying the same thing and government has been ignoring us. And I think for the first time, governments can actually see that there's real people behind cell phones, because we have been complaining about this for years. And you're asking, what happens if things go wrong? And I'm been listening to the language all this time. Everyone, are you going to take responsibility? Are you going to take responsibility? Can I ask, whose responsibility is it to protect the country? Is it us? It's definitely not our responsibility. You can't place that on us. If the government is going to be spending 600 million, then they must work for it.
Yeah.
They must show us that they can be able to protect the country. We can't be crying every day over our borders being porous and then failing to protect us as the citizens. And when we decide we want to stand up against them, suddenly everyone has a voice about how we must take responsibility. Who takes responsibility for all those children who are out on the streets smoking drugs? Who takes responsibility for all those things coming in our borders? Who takes responsibility for all the human trafficking that's happening in this country? If anyone wants to point a finger at someone who must take responsibility, starts with those who allowed illegal immigration in the first place. Those are the ones who must take responsibility for anything that happened on the first place. Don't point the finger on us. We've done our due diligence. We've put our head on the block here. And everyone in the world is looking at us, calling us hateful things, swearing at us, and the government is acting as if this issue of illegal immigration is our problem. It's not our problem that there's illegal immigrants in the country. We didn't invite anyone. We certainly didn't want to feel unsafe in our own country. We certainly never envisioned there'd be a time where in our hospitals we don't have spaces and children in schools don't have spaces. So if there's anyone that must shoulder any blame for the 30th, it's the government. But on our part, we are saying, for what we can take and what we can do to ensure that no violence ensures, we'll do that. But we can't go over and above. We don't have 100 million rand here. Maybe if you give us 600 million rand, you'll see the difference. So maybe give us that 600 million and we'll show you how to take care of the country. Where are you getting your money from? Israel. Guys, I don't even know anyone from Israel. The only time I ever heard about Israel was in the Bible. And now I'm hearing that I'm funded by Israel. Do you know the amount of time people spend on conspiracy theories really worries me. So are you guys telling me that black people cannot stand up for anything unless there's money involved? Are we not smart enough? Are we not entitled enough? Do our brains not function unless there's money involved? I find it so very offensive. Because if this movement had a lot of white faces here, everyone would be like, oh, let's hear what you have to say. Oh my gosh, why do we have the issue of illegal immigrants? It's such a fundamental right for people to be protected in their country. But because it's black people, we find the most offensive things to say to us. It's disgusting that the media keeps pushing this agenda of us as black people not being able to stand up for ourselves in our communities because we're black. And everything we must do must have money involved. Yes, we know there are people who have bad motives and bad intentions for doing something. But have you ever seen us going to Israel and getting money? Why would you run a story that you don't have proof of? Have you ever asked us for our bank statements and we said no? If you've ever asked us for bank statements and we said no, rightfully write that and say you have issues of who's giving us money. We have bank statements, guys, where people donate. If you want to see them, today I can give them to you. Don't keep making us airheads in our heads. Because now these people, you don't even understand how very detrimental to our lives this thing of aligning us with certain people is. Because we say we are aligned with Israel. What do you think the Palestinians see us as? Exactly. Why do we care if Palestinians and Israelites are in South Africa? Because that's the exact problem that we're talking about. Exactly. What kind of African country has people from other religions fighting religious wars in that country? We are an African country. Why must our African beliefs and values be pushed aside so that we can get ourselves involved in things that have nothing to do with us? Whether you're Muslim or whether you're Jew, it doesn't matter to us. We just want you to be in the country legally, finish. And asking us where we get our money from if you're not going to contribute to send to us is not helping us. Give us 600 million as well. Then ask us what we're doing with the money. Because we're not a government entity here. We don't use taxpayers' money for our existence. Everything that we have to do here requires us to put in our own money. And if South Africans are donating to us, Why is it a problem? Because we can't do anything for ourselves.
Yeah.
No, guys, I really find this question highly offensive. Highly. And I'm saying again, if you want our bank statements, we are more than happy to give them to you. Nabila Sheikh, what gives us the right to impose the 30th? I think I've explained where the 30th came from. Yeah. And I wish he was here to answer where the motivation for the date came from. But unfortunately, I can't answer where the date comes from. But I've also explained the logic behind us hopping onto the 30th. And the dark skin tone of skin. I think we've had, if I can calculate, if not 30 or so marches already. And, you know, with every single instance where people have claimed that there's been attacks on people who are Tonga or whatever, they've been proven to not be true. Because I can tell you that the only people who are talking about this issue of us having abused or hurt people of dark skin are people who have always opposed what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yes. So I can tell you, Nabila, in a march, the only thing we're doing is marching. Nobody's looking at skin color saying, oh, you dark, you blue, you orange. In March and March, I can show you one of our leaders is darker than the sun. He's very dark. So if we had to go with that, I think we'd have a serious problem in this country. Because nothing we've ever said is about skin color. When people ask us, why are you only targeting Africans? I'm like, I'm so confused. Because the tuck shops, spider shops business is taken over by Asians. Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Chinese. And we are always there at the forefront with the police. To go to those same people and say, these businesses, are they registered? Are they in compliance? How do we get them? It's not about skin color, Nabila. And I hope that everyone who's trying to push that agenda understands that we don't care if it's white people that are in the country legally. We don't care if it's Chinese. We don't care if it's Smurfs. We don't care if you're pink. The only thing we care about is, are you in the country legally? Because legally would mean, Nabila, that there's been a background check that's done by Home Affairs. Oh, I don't even know if that's even happening. We're hoping, if we're lucky, Home Affairs did a background check before allowing people in the country. But unfortunately, knowing Home Affairs, that they don't even do that. So that's what we're asking for, that we want people to come into our country and do the right things and be positive influences in the country and bring about positive change, not economic migrants. We don't want to import poverty from all other African countries. And it's got nothing to do with hating people or not loving them or hating ourselves or our skin color. It's got everything to do with respecting the laws of the country. Because migration, I've said this so many times, and it works me up every time I have to repeat it. Migration was there for a reason. It wasn't meant as an escape for your government. Nobody here has a right to escape to another country because their government is not giving them a job. When we go to another country, the country has already evaluated that there is a position available for Jacinta to go to that country. And nobody in this country wants that job. So in Saudi Arabia, for example, they realize they've got a shortage of skilled nurses. They go out and look for skilled nurses. They're not looking for people to sell tomatoes on the streets. They're looking for people to be nurses. That's how migration works, and that's all we're asking for. Can we not be made to feel bad for wanting the right thing for our own country? Because now if you are importing 100 nurses from Nigeria, and there's already 300 South Africans who are already not working, how are you going to make migration work for South Africa? I'm sorry guys, this thing gets me emotional, but I apologize. The reflection of the government. Do we feel like they missed an opportunity? Shem, our government, Banda, Shem. I don't even know where to start with our government. I'm going to change and move from the government and come to you guys as the media. Your job is to hold the government responsible and assist us as the citizens in holding the government accountable. That starts with you guys asking the right questions. But you don't ask the right questions. Even now with that immigration crisis that's happening in Durban, where there's thousands of Malawians there. Guys, you are not asking the right question. How did we get there? How are we having thousands of people undocumented there? Stop asking them if they've eaten, guys. Stop asking them if they've had a bath or all of those things. Honestly, you are depriving us of an opportunity to see just how bad the crisis is. Please ask the government, ask Cyril Ramaphosa, why have you been ignoring this issue for so long? What is your plan? Not that State of the Nation address where at because if I was to ask you guys, of all those things that are suggested on the day, how many have you actually seen happening?
Empty promises.
Because, first of all, the Department of Home Affairs doesn't have money. So, by them even having to deport there, we were saying it's an opportunity for municipalities to loot. We know how the government works. So now they're going to make someone get a tender for a tent, make someone get a tender. Why are you just not getting more and enough buses to let everyone to go?
With the 600 million.
With the 600 million, why do you not increase and speedily make sure that people go home, but also recover that money from the Malawian government? It can't be a free exercise. You are taking their people who are in the country legally. It's taxpayers' money. We can't be paying for Malawians who came into the country legally. I don't even understand. You guys make all the crimes in the world look bad except for illegal immigration. You make illegal immigration look like it's South Africans who are at fault. How is it our fault that so many Malawians are in the country legally? Those are the questions we want to know. How much is the government spending as those people are outside? Where are the NGOs and NPOs that are always crying for immigrants in the country? Why are they not giving them buses now to go home? Where's the Helen Suzman Foundation? Where's the Lawyers for Human Rights? Where are the gifts of the givers? Where they don't give them food, give them transport to go home. That's what they want. They don't want food, they want to go home. And if you started the exercise of taking out money, those are just Malawians, Shem. You still have Nigerians, Ethiopians, Somalians, Zimbabweans, Mozambicans. So save your money. You still going to need it very much. And the MK party being present. Actually, this is the civic movement in representation. I think my brother from the MK came to show support after seeing the invite. Because honestly, like I said, even with the I was hoping they would have projected the organizations that are part of us today. It's only civic movements, because Operation Tutula is here as well as a civic movement, because they've got two wings. They've got the wing of the political party, but the civic movement was the one that we are working with. We're not working with the political party. So we just wanted to clear that out. That there was no specific invite that was sent to the MK to be present and speak today. I do believe that my brother saw an invite and came to show support to the movement. I think that's about it. Is there anything guys would like to just quickly, one.
Please. Last question, just please don't, because you found out political parties that don't support you. Kindly list for us political parties that you think have been supportive of your campaign. And yes, the video does exist.
I would like Jacinta to respond, because I think we cannot have media houses here making dangerous status. And can you please take out the video? We urge you, sir, from UFM. Can we ask you, sir, can you please show us the video? No. You must show us the video. We want to see the video where you are alleging that Jacinta said people must perish. That is a dangerous statement. Show us the video. I want the media to make record of this, that this gentleman from UFM has said, and please show us the video. Show us the video.
Let's project the video.
And then we will project it on TV. As we continue.
Show the video.
Yes. No, sir. You can't do that. You can't come here and make allegations. They are very daring and are very cruel. And then we expect to shut the video. Right. Can we please proceed to the next question? Can we get the okay.
No, he's a Nigerian. He's a Nigerian.
Please, guys. Take a breather. Take a breather. Take a breather, somebody. Take a breather.
Can we continue to receive?
Okay, thank you.
While we
names, and we can't have media. Come sit with us. We must see the video because if that's the English problem, maybe it would be with me. People must tell us. Anyway.
can we continue to can you please continue?
Because there's more than just March. It's not a March presser, it's a collective organizations. But just to answer the issue of busing people that Uputi over there insinuated, there was one bus that was from Durban, KZN, that went to the march in Pretoria and in KZN. That was the only bus that was there. And these were people that the bus had been sponsored by Umandisi Jingana, who was in social media. The donation he made was public. It was 50,000 rand for the bus. I think those who are on our social media platforms would know this. We took the 50,000 rand and we paid for the bus to come to Johannesburg and Victoria for that march because the people on March in KZN had requested to be part of the march. That is only a number of 62 people. So if your brother here is saying that we bus people in numbers, I'd like to hear him share where those buses will come from, because as far as we know there's only one bus, but I think while he's looking for that video he'll also look for the bus. The protest used to advance a political agenda. I think as much we've been very clear in the stand that we will talk to political parties, and we do that deliberately because we are not in parliament, and there's a number of policies that we want to be changed in parliament, and that's not going to be changed by us because we're a movement. So when we engage political parties, it's with that in mind firstly. Second of all, it's also to understand that where political parties stand with the issue of illegal immigration. Because when the local government elections happen, we are not a political party. When the local government elections happen, we want each and every one of those political parties who agreed to fight the issue of illegal immigrants to not change. And we will be there holding them to account to say that you said when you are a mayor or when you are a councillor, you will enforce municipal bylaws that allow you to bring back the township economy back to the hands of South Africans. And that's why we engage political parties. It's not because we think that it's going to advance anyone's career. I do not believe that South Africans are not smart enough to see people who are playing them, who are trying to advance a political career. Unfortunately, it's happened before. But right now, there's a new breed of South Africans who are more aware of what's going on, who are more careful about what they're doing. That's why we continue to emphasize the importance of South Africans going to vote and voting for political parties who are going to bring about change in their communities, or even people, because we know local government elections are also individuals, it's not just political parties. So we continue to emphasize that we vote for political parties and individuals who are prioritizing putting South Africans first. What is the next step? The next step for us is to continue until we win. That's what we've said. And we know what winning means to us. Winning means to us our borders are secure, first of all. we clean out the people who are already in the country illegally. Those are the two most important things. Prevent those from coming in who are outside, and those that are already inside, we make sure that we politely and happily take them out of the country. And also on top of that, putting South Africans first. We don't want a situation where we have to beg and grovel for jobs that the law of the country already says you are not allowed to hire a foreign national unless you've proven that a South African is not qualified. But what we've noted is people are making us feel bad for wanting these very laws to be enforced. It's the law that says that. It's not South Africans that woke up in the morning and said, hey, Wits University or whatever university, hire South Africans. You can't be having lecturers that are only foreign nationals because one foreign national came and then started hiring other ones. Yeah. That's not what the law says. So if people are busy glorifying much and much sticking to the law, why are they not sticking to the law? I mean, institutions of higher learning themselves are breaking the law. But nobody's screaming and shouting at the rooftop calling them vigilantes for breaking the laws. It's only us who are breaking the laws in this country. Business people are hiring foreign nationals without even following due process. Nobody's calling it vigilantism. When people in their homes are gathering nannies who must sleep at 10 o'clock at night because they must clean all day, it's fine. But the minute we call that out, then we are the ones that are vigilantes. I think the vigilantism starts with the people who are breaking the laws and aiding and abetting illegal immigrants in the country. And then in terms of the Muslim business owners, personally, I don't think there's any preference to any business owners. Business owners must all be treated the same, whether Muslim, whether pink, orange, green, purple. For us, it's irrelevant. As long as the business owner is abiding by the laws of the country, they need to follow the laws thoroughly. We met with other companies like Takealot, Uber, and we reminded them of their responsibility to the country. Checkers 66, we've also reminded them, even though they didn't show up to the meeting. But we still said to them, you can't be hiring foreign nationals. It's not us as much and much that are saying it. It's the book of the law. The same law you are saying that you're scared you're going to be breaking. If everyone is sitting in a press conference like this, calling all these companies that we see hiring people and not following due process, I think the country would function a lot better. Because now everyone is reacting to much and much reacting to criminality that's done by people who have positioned themselves as the voice or those that are better than us just because they've got money. Just because a business person has money doesn't give them a right to break the laws of the country. All of us must abide by the laws of the country. Every single one of us. Whether you are rich, whether you are poor, whether you come from another country, whether you're South African, the laws of the country cannot keep being disrespected and disregarded just because people want to use other excuses. Oh, they are human beings. Oh, they are hungry. So I must also say the same about a criminal in Kwamashu. When they leave their family hungry and they go hijack someone, oh, they are doing it for their family. We can all make an excuse for crime, guys. We can all make an excuse for crime. Aiding and abetting an illegal immigrant is breaking the laws of the country. It's written down in the law. So those same people mustn't come at fresh here with us just because we're standing up against something that's wrong. What we're doing here is standing up against the breaking of the laws in this country. And I don't know why that is called vigilantism. For the life of me, I don't understand. I really don't get it. I wish maybe they could explain to us. So they are the only ones that can break the laws and life must just go on. But when we're trying to correct what they were doing, then we are vigilantes. And they're saying that we're breaking the laws. For as long as I can remember.
Very much, members of media. My name is Mugai from the Progressive Forces. There was a question that was sent by Ian Nabir regarding the statement of the President when he speaks about the citizens' arrest. That is actually 2, of which goes as the Criminal Act of 1977. Citizens, we do have a right, and private citizens, we do have a right to make those arrests. Now, when you are going to the section itself, it speaks about a run offense. A court case that 2020 of a Malawian who obviously not in part with Immigrations Act in 2002, it was found into the court that it was scheduled an offense. So as citizens of the country, we do have that right. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Can we answer some questions? The journalist that asked over there, sir, can you please just repeat your question?
You mentioned that you on the 30 intensified.
They're asking if you could elaborate further as to what is meant about intensifying after the 30 years should change prevail.
Well, I said civic moves, there's something that will enough going forward. Because we are hopeful that by this year the government will respond. Because I don't think we're asking for much. We're asking for secure borders. We're asking for more investment on the roads because of obviously it seems to me it's much. We're asking for the BMA to work inland. Let me explain to you why. So currently, the BMA operates only at the border and just a few meters outside the borders as far as they can go. But they don't come inland, right? Which means if I come into South Africa and I say I'm coming to visit my cousin who sees where somewhere in KZN, and I overstay my visit, I guess that's a BMA information. Home Affairs doesn't have that information. So the point. So I'm giving Home Affairs information, but Home Affairs has the duty to deport me when I've overstayed. How does Home Affairs not overstay my state? That's exactly why we have a problem like this. On top of that, there at the border, we ask them, do they know currently where their refugees are? They don't know where their refugees are. They've got no idea where their refugees are. They say that they've got 167,000, I believe, around them. My figures might not be correct, but they're below 200,000 refugees that we have in the country. Which is ridiculous, by the way, because the number of them is definitely not 150,000. But we ask how the application they're sitting at 1.2 million applications currently. So there's about roughly 800,000 so people for the country unaccounted for. And these are, I'm just counting, there's still asylum seekers as well, which brings their number to 450,000, right? You can't have a situation where there's so many people walking around the country undetected. Nobody knows who they are, where they come from, what they do in the country, what they stay with. This is a huge security risk for the country. And that's why we're rising in South African numbers. We're saying we have to in our own country. On top of that, it's a battle for scarce resources. South Africa does not have unlimited resources. We cannot service everyone. And therefore understand that people are problems in their country. Understand good. Which is why we say, go and fix countries. It's not supposed to be an and encourage, say, we as South Africans, as all nations, we've grouped us here to fight with our government. Go and do the same. If you need us as South Africans to support you in whatever means possible, we'll do that while you're in your country. Now, people just come back and say, we helped you during apartheid. During apartheid, South Africans were not economic migrants. They're not running away from poverty. They're running away from real danger. And not the whole of South Africa ran away. Majority of South Africans stayed to fight. So we're saying we are willing to accept that, but guys, it's been 30 years. Instead of getting lesser and lesser economic growth, so even migrants, but getting more and more of them. Because countries are becoming more and more problematic. The political environment is becoming more and more stable. The economies of other African countries is becoming more and more unstable. A single country that we're allowed to keep giving and giving ourselves so others can survive. We can't keep taking South Africans to other degrees. It's not fair. And for people to turn this at hatred, it's very painful. Because I always ask myself, are they not listening to us speak? Because none of what we say is about hatred. It's got nothing to do with fearing migrants or not loving them. It's about us as South Africans having the little that we have left to survive and protect us. Can the world have us what it really is? Instead of calling us xenophobic, in where was this? In Ireland. Nobody was doing xenophobia. They were literally going to houses, getting people, beating them up, burning them up. No one article was calling this xenophobia. It was anti-immigrant protest. Do we not deserve the same grace? What makes it when white people are protesting that is got a nice and fancy name? We are protesting always violence, we always think about it. All we said on the 30th years, I don't even know what Miguel has said. What we're saying now is that we're saying we want to march. He didn't say anything about destroying anything. But there's one other problem that I wish everyone can note. The government of South Africa, the media of the world, pays so much attention to South Africans that you ignore the foreign nationals. Do they not vote South Africans? Do they not tell us they're going anywhere, even if they're here in the country? This is their hand that was given to Mandela, to them by Mandela. We've got things here with Owen, which is such a go. Those things, it's not fair. The media is not listening. We are saying we are not going to have any violence. but foreign nationals themselves are provoking Africans. Is it possible that you guys paint the full picture? Please, we're not saying paint us as angels. We don't care what you call us. But paint the full picture. Go and tell the story of South Africans who have been run out of the tuck shop business because Pakistanis and Somalians have told them they can't open tuck shops in one country. Tell the stories of South African children who can't have spaces in schools. Tell the stories of women who are South African giving birth on the floor because they don't have space. Because Zimbabwe has terrible care and they forever have to give birth to South Africa. Yes. We want you guys tell the full story. Don't tell a one-sided story. You are the ones that are going to cause a fight when there's no fight. Because someone who's in the country shouldn't even be protected. No. Is that the same marches we've been having and conducting just wanted to be cut right. We've never said anything about shutdown, didn't say anything about a shutdown. Say anyone has to work. We didn't say anyone is going to be hurt. We didn't say anyone is going to be violent. All we are asking is for illegal immigrants to leave the country. Illegal, and please stop calling them undocumented migrants. Because in the law, they're illegal. That's what the law says. If you are telling us you must respect the law, you must respect the law. Say what the law says, it doesn't say undocumented. Because undocumented people would be South Africans who have no documents. That's an undocumented person. Yes. A person who's in the country illegal is an illegal immigrant. And they came into the country knowing very well that they're illegal. Stop giving them fancy terms. It's really frustrating. Yo, this country is frustrating. So, you guys, the minute someone comes into the country illegally, they become a victim. Then you're using them like refugees, asylum seekers, all of that. So you genuinely believe that a person who comes to a country illegally has done absolutely nothing wrong. The people who are wrong are us. You can blame the system all you want. Yes, the system allowed them. Yes, government is wrong. We are holding our government to account. That's what we're doing here. You can't pretend that when a person is breaking the law, they don't know they're breaking the law. And who gets to suffer? It's South Africans. Just that day, I was hoping someone's going to follow up on this story, because if it was a migrant, it would be across the world. There was a driver went to that place and said they found the Mozambique who raped the little girl and was trying to go back to Mozambique. Oh, shame, that didn't make sense. Not newsworthy. No, that little girl is just a South African. So anything can happen to her. As if it was migrant. Yes, there's a pedophile who was found. There's plenty of people who are found on Interpol. There's plenty of people who are found on Interpol in this country. But it's never a story. It's not worth news. No. But talk about March and March. Oh, we are the vigilantes. We are the Afrophobics. We hate people who are xenophobic. So you tell me, when someone comes into your country illegally and they start setting themselves up, living in hijack, doing all of this, they're giving children love. They love us. They're here because they love us. Am I in South Africa? I'm sure they love us. No. Guys, please, can you stay around with this issue? Very serious for South Africans. Please, can we respond responsibly? Did you get the video you're talking about?
No.
Of course, no.
I want to just forward ahead. Going on, it's just propaganda. You can come and you hear from in our business, and we won't allow that. I'm going to move forward and speak on, as Joseph said, civil society organizations like that. We are stand in solitude, and I'll speak for myself. Kwanele Foundation, in fact, we applaud SRU for the investigations that we've started, and it has come to book. Just last week, we discovered a Mozambican or a Zimbabwean pastor. Witness Mazanga has 3 different IDs. He got a tender from City Power of 500 million. He's in South Africa, he's living in Loka. And when CCBC, Kwanele Foundation says all non-South African pastors who are owning or have churches in South Africa must subject themselves to investigation. I'm not xenophobic. Because if you come into South Africa and all of a sudden we have an NGO, how did you get it? Explain to us. How did you get it? Because it means you are not taxed. So there's no non-South African pastor who can say, I pay my taxes. No, an NPO and civil society organization is not taxed. How did you get your documentation? Number 2, are you saying to me, you left Nigeria, you left Ghana, you left wherever, you are in South Africa. You are failing to give accurate prophecies for your countries, to your presidents, to say, President, Boko Haram is coming. President, they are going to do cannibalism here. President, they're going to steal women and children. But all these non-South African pastors are so fixated on prophecies for South Africa. That doesn't make us xenophobic. We are just saying, if indeed really God called you, I don't believe God is a cruel God that will make your country come to South Africa. New churches are front, you are peddling drugs, human trafficking, money laundering. You are coming here with your wives, then you are divorcing each other and pretending to be brother and sister. You marry our sisters just for pay. Few years later, you divorce the sister, you go back there, the one that you said is your brother or sister, just to reignite your marriage from wherever you come from. And then our children are objected to abuse, trafficking, that's happening. And you are using the title of pastor as a front. We have South African pastors. We have men and women of God in South Africa who can preach, teach, prophesy, and do everything. We have the fivefold ministry. Why are they quiet? Why are they silent? We are not xenophobic, but the abuse that happens behind the churches, and the reason why most of them get away with it is because church. You think, no, it's a church, it's glorious, hallelujah, amen, abuse what happening there. So all non-South African pastors who are in country, please subject yourself to investigation. You have nothing to hide. The SIU is doing something good. They are starting from in the beginning. If you have been here for 26 years, great. SIU will go back to 26 years ago with you to start unfolding, to say, right, you came with a visa permit, holiday visa. What happened? How come 26 years? And they will fetch and find all those people you married and everything. And my brother, my father, my sister, my mama, my papa, my daddy. If you did nothing wrong, you will not be afraid. I say this because this declaration that is before us, the civil society organizations, I'm going to sign it and say, because it says we confirm and declare that our organizations stand for peace, unity, and the enforcement of our laws. And that our call is a peaceful demonstration for our people's anger and disappointment against the state, that our people must protest in a non-violent manner. We reject any form of violence, destruction of property, and looting as a form of crime. So I'm going to sign it as CKCBC from Kwanele Foundation, and then we're going to move on to other civil societies to sign it. Oh, he's holding for me. Oh, gosh. See the power in servanthood. So as I sign this declaration, I, CKCBC, as the founder of Kwanele Foundation, and who is saying we are tired of pastors, mamas, daddies, papas, using church as a front to peddle drugs, human trafficking, whatever that they do. And we're saying, Papa, Mama, Daddy, If indeed you are here legally 26, 40 years, subject to some investigation, so that if you are here legally, you will not be let to go. It is signed by myself, CKCBC, as I pass on to the next civil society organization. Thank you.
Issue of what the Mr. Acting Minister of Police said, Mr. Kachal, sorry, I heard that he said that I'm not allowed to speak. So I just want to say that we're still going to check that legal is correct. Because if the Public Gathering Act says we're not allowed to guest, then it would apply even to weddings and functions. So if we can carry sticks in weddings and functions, it wouldn't make sense to not be able to carry it for a march. So for us, we just need to verify that, because we can't have government coming on TV and threatening us as if we don't have laws. If they're talking about the law, which law allows the acting minister to threaten us? We've never said anything about violence. They are the ones that have been talking about violence, and now they're coming to threaten the citizens because they have enforced their own laws. So we don't appreciate being threatened. We would have hoped that they would have sat down with us and had an engagement with us and really listened to what we're saying instead of making us the villains in this movie. But they are the villains because they are the ones that open the borders to all kinds of infiltration. They can't even arrest the Nigerians. We gave a list of Nigerians here that have been named by the same department of SAPS. But those Nigerians are still out on the streets. So they must threaten Nigerians. Guys, the police have ended to threaten people. Threaten those drug dealers. Threaten the people on Madam Commission.
No, but they're getting money.
That's wrong. I am saying this, and what I want to say, we should not be sitting here answering why the integrity of our country should be restored. And also, what I would like to say and make it very clear, South Africans, you will never be able to change the system you are not ready to provoke unless you poke holes on the system of the people who are very clear they do not care about you. That's why we're going to stand and have this change. And in front of everyone else, we joined much and equally so we are carrying the weight of it because a woman stood for us to stand up and not to be bashing and lying about the things that we are doing here. All we are supposed to be doing, we are taking our country back and we are bringing it its integrity. And that's why we are committing all the way, effective now until we find everything that we are expecting to get with you. My name is Musaga Shogwa and the organization is United South African and I'm founder and president.
Thank you very much. There are organizations that are not here. Remember, we said there are 27 organizations. So, but they are with us, those that are physically here, they are here. But I'm going to call on all the names of the organizations here, and those that are here physically, and those that have sent their reps, they will also ask mic over to them so that they can also get declaration. So every member that is here of the organizations, they're going to. There's a very beautiful video that was supposed to be shown from there, but I don't know what happened. It's a very beautiful video. You could have seen it. It's very beautiful. So, but anyway, it's not a train smash. I'm going to call on all the organizations that are here. So all organizations that are here, I'll call their names, acknowledge them, each one of them. I have progressive forces. Can they make their hands present? I've got Mabahambe. Abahambe. Present, ma'am. We have, Raisa. The other name is fucking wrong. There's Raisa. Yeah, I know. There's Ramsa. Yes, they are here. Thank you. I have African Liberation Movement. Yeah. Koti. Progressive Forces. I did count it. So, United South Africans.
Halala.
Thank you. We have March and March. Thank you, ma'am. Present. We have SACR, or SACR, the leader, which is President Khomeini, is in Moscow. So she did send that she's also with us. Thank you. We have Umphakathi Waruna, they also reported, but they are part of us. We have UTDSA, they are also, that's why I said if you could see the logos of all those organizations here. They consented, as proposed, they are all in, and they gave us their consent that we are together. Thank you. So we have Black Business Unity, they are represented, but I'm representing both. I'm Count Me In and Black Business Unity, so I'm representing. But I will sign after everybody has done their part. We have SAUCC, SACY. Which one is SACY? Okay, we have Inkabayam. Okay, but I did say some are not here, but we do have their logos and they are part of us. We have Operation Dudula, a civil movement, because we have them in a political space and in a civil space. So Operation Dudula on the table is representing civil space, SAC. Thank you. No. What's that? So I have Katalin Na. Do you have anyone from Katalin Na in the? No, they are not here, but we do have their consent. We have Progressive Civic Congress. Progressive Civic Congress. Okay, thank you. We have Lefasila Rona. Anyone? Okay, we don't have. We have Batako Bataping. They are not here. We have Umang. I know they are not here. I have I'm a Patriot. We have Ubukanya Welanga. We have Bammu. We have Lako. So what I'd like to say now, before I will give over to our patriots, the other organizations, remember this initiative, we have representative in all the 9 provinces. So if you ask about the state of readiness for the 30th and all the questions that have been asked about safety, we have 9 representations. So it will roll out. Keep watching the news, our social platforms. That's where you get all the information regarding the readiness, the state of readiness, and everything to do with the 30th. That's how it's going to be. So I'll start from my left to my right, and all the organizations can give me that declaration so that I may have this on the line. Thank you. And also on the leader, can you begin with that?
Just yes, you can hear. Okay. I salute all leaders. I am Roger from African Liberation Movement.
I'm sorry. Who South African first present man? Thank you.
I'm here to represent the African Liberation Movement. The African Liberation Movement is a forum for civic organization started in the class, and we are here for a long time. And then we changed this name to be African Liberation Movement. To ourselves, to say, if you are illegal in the country, open. We want to liberate Africa. We want to help them, and we work together. I said to people, and we work together. That's why we are African Liberation Movement. And in this match, never by much and much. Until we win. And our members were in the ground. Long time before we did that, but today we are here president. And there are no big and say, that is saying and one of the journalists saying something which is totally wrong. Tribalistic. I think maybe out. I think they must to call us on other planet. Before 1990, the South Africans fought against. And you go to Iraq, they are fighting, they're being called by names. And we are not afraid yet to call them names. As long as we know what we stand for. We have a situation which was never been recorded. We have a situation, we use all the system of health.
From the Labour and Civic Organization. I'm in the responsibility of being Secretary General. Today, I am going to attach my signature on the rate declaration. As concerns South Africans, under the South Africa First Civic Organization, noted President Ramaphosa's address with disappointment. The President failed to provide realistic solutions or a clear timeline for implementation. He minimized the need for practical, immediate action. We believe the President is gaslighting the nation. We caution against labeling concerned citizens as vigilante. In the absence of government action, citizens will self-organize to find a way to address their issues without state cooperation. Points of entry, borders and harbors need immediate attention and enforcement. We oppose the establishment of refugee camps and asylum seeker camps at our borders. Such camps will create uncomfortable border management and further compromises the national security. We demand the protection of South African fundamental human rights, safety and justice. Mr. President, civilians fighting for their country and its citizens cannot be threatened in silence, nor should armed forces be unleashed against them. Mr. President, do not forget these citizens are also members of society and are directly affected by illegal migration, and that is out of control. It is your duty, Mr. President, to stabilize the country and protect our sovereignty. We demand immediate action. Of diplomatic speeches. Thank you.
Good day, we at the media house and all the reporters who are here, and again, Jacinta, thank you so much for this initiative. What first of all, I'd like to basically must take instruction from King Charles, because we cannot continue to be a country that is led by a country. We need sovereignty. That's what's important, that we need to go on a national. Go on in our life. We have children. We have a future that's right. Therefore, we need to respect that. We need to respect that the next direction must never find a country that is entirely. All of us that are here, we pledge and agree to one thing. We are patriotic in this country, and we need to see this country flourish, and its nation, and the children, and the country be safe. Thank you.
I would like to address two issues. A clear narrative that has been created outside there. South Africa is a democratic state. The residents of South Africa, including the cabinet, is serving on the basis of the votes of South African citizens. Therefore, the president, as the head of state, accounts to the citizens of Africa. And if the citizens of South Africa are unpleasant or about the manner in which the government is running the government on our behalf, it's a right of citizens to rise up, especially when citizens have given numerous memorandums to say the president will issue a problem in this country. And one thing that the media house is failing to do, they are failing to ask the president an relevant question. When the president takes office, the constitution of the country is put in front of him. The Chief Justice of the Constitutional Court makes the president to take an oath to say, I, Cyril Ramaphosa, will uphold constitution of the country, protect the constitution of the country, and also enforce the constitution of the country. So why don't you go back to the president and ask him, you're taking an oath of office, but we have a situation whereby your government is failing to implement the laws of the country. Is the president not violating the very laws that we are now about? How is it that South Africans are able to stand up to raise issues that are legally and constitutional? And secondly, we seem to sensationalize the problems South Africans are facing. We are suppressed in our own country. You know, when democracy fails, that's when dictatorship and autocratic rule comes in. The government was able to go and mobilize 100 million to suppress South African voices, which are happy of the illegal people are living in the country. Anything that is illegal is criminal. But we want to normalize criminality. And we are saying, it cannot be that we sit back and not protect the sovereignty of the states of the Republic of South Africa. Some presidents in Africa have pronounced and said the problem of immigration cannot be blamed on them. Those people are not called names. Donald Trump has implemented immigration down with impunity. Nobody has done it. But for poor South Africans are standing up saying, we have an issue, we have a problem that needs to be addressed. We are named xenophobic. So therefore, as our movement, we don't serve a political influence. We don't serve any political, but we are an independent civic organizations. And therefore, all the legitimate issues that are pronounced in this declaration, we will support them. And support this declaration of peaceful marches that will be rolling over the country in the coming days. And I'm saying that this event is not about much and much. It's about South African citizens and South African civil society.
Before I think
members of the media, South Africans at large. My name is Categorizing from the Progressive Force of South Africa. And the declaration that brought us here is to put South Africa first, not putting Zimbabwe first, not putting Malawi first, not putting Ethiopia first, not putting Zambia itself first, but South Africa as a whole. We are South Africans. Upon the born of democracy, as South Africans, we have never enjoyed liberation from our forefathers. What we think to you right now is that still again, we are still in fact now, it's more or less of a black and black violence, but we are not advocating for violence. As most of the time media perceives this type of utterances. So, as a country, we will reiterate, we have never enjoyed the dawn of democracy. High unemployment, 60% of the youth is high unemployed. That's the stats recently now. 345,000 people have been left off. You know, the situations, especially us as civic movement, when we're doing Operation Today, there are certain things that just needs enforcement of. They don't need a sitting in parliament where you would find people drinking whiskeys after that. No, we don't need that. We just need action and implementation. That's where we are. So yet again, as we are coming back to this declaration, ladies and gentlemen, it's a declaration of we need to look into the judicial system. The judicial system is not for our side. I will make an example right now. There was a former president of a certain country called Zambia, Edgar Lungu. The president should have been buried in Zambia. The court ruling in the Gauteng High Court, in the High Court declared that the president should be repatriated to Zambia. But unfortunately yesterday, the Supreme Court of Appeal said no, the president should be buried here in South Africa. So that is where we are in regards when I'm saying we need to really look into our judicial systems. Why is it that a former sitting president will be buried into a country, of which a country that has existing kings, existing presidents, won't it proceed on the future that the generation will come and want to claim the land because their forefather was here? So we need to move away from this nonsense. We need to move away from these emotions that we have been given by our own government. We are tired of this government. This declaration today, we at the Progressive Forces of South Africa are in support. We are championing this movement. It is not a much and much movement. It's a South African movement. We thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I'm going to
South Africans. Mario Kamal from South Africa. Just to
2017, we had a case against Home Affairs for the very same reasons that brought us here today. But knowing our government,
everything falls down. So we are very thankful for the nation's march and South
Africa. This declaration with solutions, because it seems the government doesn't have any solution, any plan whatsoever. So one, we're saying 600 million must be earmarked and used for to establish special courts to deal with corrupt public servants, to eradicate the institutional corruption within the Department of Home Affairs, SAPS, Department of Labor, and Judiciary. Secondly, we're saying the 600 million must be used for compliance to treat the employers who have to comply with South African laws and any landlord who is contravening Section 42 of the Immigration Act. Three, saying communities and citizens are allowed to work with South African police to enforce the laws of this country. They can jointly identify a problem and jointly come up with a solution together with the service, which is South African Police Service. I'm now talking Section 18(1) E and F of South African Police Act. Lastly, we say if police fail to work in part, the citizens have got the right to enforce Section 42 of the
In closing, just would like to ask that we've noted that the South African Police Service is out there meeting foreign nationals, telling them about their rights. We've seen it happening in many different parts of the country, and they were telling the businesses about their rights, and we've seen many SAPS members coming out to tell foreign nationals about rights. We are asking the Minister of Police, can you extend the same to South Africans? Can your SAPS members come out and tell us about the rights? Because we saw in Mayfair, South Africans were kicked out by Somalians. And we didn't get any grace from the government to come and tell us that no Somalian is allowed to kick us out in our country. In fact, no police responded to that. And I had a number of South Africans from Mayfair complaining that they are being kicked out in their own country as Somalians. Can we have the same grace from our government to respond with the same urgency as they do when foreign nationals are calling them out? We know we don't have money sitting under our beds like them that we can give you to the SAPS members. But you are not doing this job because you are supposed to be paid by us. We're already paying you through our taxes. And then also, there's a lot of people who are talking about this issue of illegal immigration, but can we ask the media to reach out to people in the diaspora to explain the problem that they're also facing when it comes to people getting documents and they're pretending to be South African in other countries, and how this is ruining the reputation of this country. This issue is much bigger than just being here. It's gone into the international world, where we are demanding even to know those Irish people who are deported back to South Africa, are they South African? Because we saw a Nigerian woman claim to be South African being deported back to Nigeria, when she could have just taken a plane straight to Nigeria. Now we must also focus another cost of her being transported from South Africa to Nigeria. This country keeps spending more and more money on foreigners, and really, we'd like to know how much is the government spending on addressing this issue of foreign nationals, from our prisons to our schools to the nutrition they're spending on giving them, to the SASSA grants that they're getting to the hospital, everything. We want to know how much the government is spending on foreign nationals in this country. And lastly, we are calling on the South African Police Service that on the 30th of June, since you will have unlimited resources, all the police are not working, please use that as a day to go house to house and arrest illegal immigrants. Because the march is not going to go on the whole day. You're going to be paid for the whole day. So when the march is finished, use it as a day to go house to house and remove illegal immigrants from our communities, because we don't feel safe. And this is a call that all South Africans are making, that 600 million, we must see it going to work on the 30th. Go and remove illegal immigrants from their homes. Go and verify the documents of the people. Don't meet them and tell them what their rights are. Go and tell them what looks broken and arrest them. That's a job of SAPS. If they wanted to know their rights, they're not going to be using austerity and them, because they know their rights. They've got less human rights. What's that other one you just said? Whatever. Those people spend money. Right now, the Department of Home Affairs has more litigation from those organizations, foreigners, than they do from South Africans. Is that not the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in life? Foreigners are the ones taking the Department of Home Affairs more than South Africans. And this thing of blaming the system of Home Affairs for all the problems, the system of Home Affairs should not be overcrowded with foreigners anyways. The system should be for servicing South Africans. All those applications for foreigners, put them aside. Focus on the South Africans who don't have IDs, whose identities are stolen like Chidima. That's what you must focus on. Don't tell us that refugees and asylum seekers are waiting for their documents to be processed. South Africans are waiting for their IDs. They don't have jobs. They need passports. Some of them want to travel for jobs overseas. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear our Home Affairs telling us they're busy processing refugee documents. That's secondary to what we want as South Africans. We can't have 4 million South Africans undocumented. They want to tell us we're processing refugees. We are demanding for the Department of Home Affairs to process South African documents first. Thank you.
Natula. I'll ask the Melinda to speak off the line.